Welcome to Learning English.
This program is designed for English learners, so we speak a little slower and we use words and phrases especially written for people learning English.
Welcome to Art for Art's Sake, the program that keeps you abreast of what's going on in the arts around the globe. Tonight I have with me in the studio art experts Anne Summer and Joseph Harris.
Hello.
The question we'll be discussing is, what are the world's most looked at works of art? And do they deserve the attention they get? Anne, let me start off by putting the first question to you.
Well, I'm sure Joseph will agree that top of the list we'd have to put the Mona Lisa. But after that, I'd put as equal second Van Gogh's Sunflowers and the Taj Mahal. And then equal third, Hokusai's The Wave and Munch's The Scream.
And Joseph?
I don't know about second and third place, but I agree with Anne that the Mona Lisa is number one.
Actually, the Norwegians have claimed recently that The Scream is now more famous.
Really?
But when it comes to seeing the original, the Mona Lisa wins hands down. The figures make that absolutely clear. Nearly 5 million people visited the Louvre last year, and presumably a very high proportion of them saw the Mona Lisa. Only 300,000 went to the National Gallery in Oslo.
So on what grounds do the Norwegians claim the Scream is more famous?
On the basis that the image has been reproduced in a wider variety of forms. And they might have something there. I think there are probably very few people in the developed world who haven't seen it.
But would they know who painted it?
Probably not, no. And they'd also be unlikely to know where the original painting is. But you have to admit there are a lot of reproductions around.
Yes, but I'm sure there are even more of the Mona Lisa. There have been T-shirts, posters, ball pens, coffee mugs, coasters, tights, watches, matchboxes, thimbles, even a giggling pillow. You name it.
I read the other day that the Artists' Rights Society has been trying to get reproductions like this suppressed on behalf of Munch's heirs. I think that's so pompous. Parodies and reproductions are good fun, if you ask me. They make me laugh anyway.
What's your view, Joseph?
Well, there have, of course, been parodies of the Mona Lisa painted by famous artists. Marcel Duchamp's is probably the best known. But it seems to me that it's all gone rather too far. Nowadays, whenever you want to make fun of somebody, you paint them as the Mona Lisa. And the image has been used in literally hundreds of advertisements. I think that's made it even harder for us to really appreciate the painting.
Yes, absolutely. Overexposure makes us kind of artistically deaf and blind. But the other thing about the Mona Lisa is that even if you go to the Louvre, it's almost impossible to get a proper look at the painting behind all that bulletproof glass. Not to mention the crowds of people all pushing and shoving to take photos.
Yes, it's terrible. When the painting was shown in the Tokyo National Museum, there was actually a guard to direct the traffic, so to speak. Most of the 1.5 million people who saw her really only caught a glimpse because they were moved on every 10 seconds.
When I saw it, I was struck by how yellowish it looked. And then someone explained that that was the varnish. Are there any plans to clean the Mona Lisa?
No, the people at the Louvre simply wouldn't dare. They say we've all got so used to her looking like that, but she's almost invisible. There's an exquisite landscape of mountains and rivers behind her, which has been impossible to see properly now for decades.
Why are we all so obsessed with her then?
I think partly because so many unresolved mysteries surround the painting. Who commissioned it? Who was she? Was the landscape painted from life? And is the Mona Lisa in the Louvre the original? The painting was stolen, you know.
I think her superstar status is really a 19th century idea. Then Leonardo da Vinci was regarded as one of, if not the, most glorious Renaissance artist. And the Mona Lisa was seen as his most mysterious and romantic work. Therefore, the thinking went, the Mona Lisa was the greatest painting in the world.
So, do you prefer the scream?
Oh, yes, I do. I think it's a much more meaningful image today. A tormented image for a tormented century. And the scream also had the good fortune to be stolen.
Oh, really? When was that?
In 1994. It was found 6 months later, but in the meantime it had enjoyed plenty of free publicity.
But surely you don't actually believe that it was stolen by someone in order.
Speaking Exercise 1. Part 1.
In this part of the test, I'm going to give each of you the chance to talk for about a minute and to comment briefly after your partner has spoken. First, you will each have the same set of pictures to look at. They show people dressed up in various ways. Gerda, it's your turn first. I'd like you to describe these two pictures, saying why you think these people are dressed up and how they might be feeling. And don't forget, you have about 1 minute for this. All right? So, Gerda, would you start now, please?
In the first picture, I can see a group of people in a formal evening clothes. The women are wearing long dresses and the men are dressed in dinner jackets and bow ties. I think the women's dresses are probably made of fabrics like velvet or satin. The women have probably been to the hairdressers to have their hair done that day. The second picture shows some men dressed up as Santa Claus. They are all wearing false beards and moustaches. These are made of white cotton wool or perhaps some kind of synthetic material. They are wearing red suits with big, thick belts and high boots. The belts and boots look as if they are made of black leather or vinyl. Some of the men seem to have padding under the suit jacket to make them look fatter than they really are.
Thank you. Now, Marta, can you tell us which of the outfits you would prefer to dress up in?
Part 2.
In this part of the test, I'm going to give each of you the chance to talk for about a minute and to comment briefly after your partner has spoken. First, you will each have the same set of pictures to look at. They show people dressed up in various ways. Alberto, it's your turn first. I'd like you to describe these two pictures, saying why you think these people are dressed up and how they might be feeling.
Well, in the first picture, there's a group of people who are very formally dressed. The men are wearing dinner jackets and black bow ties, and the women are in ball gowns. They might actually be going to a ball. They all look quite young, so it could be a university ball or even a formal 21st birthday party. In Spain, people also get dressed up like this to celebrate New Year's Eve. So, that could be what's happening here. I imagine they feel excited and happy to be together celebrating. And that they are rather pleased with the way they look. They all look very elegant to me. And I think most people enjoy getting really dressed up once in a while. The second picture is similar in that it also shows a group of young people. And if I'm right about the first picture showing a New Year's Eve celebration, then we could say that the two pictures were taken at the same time of the year. I mean, the Christmas holidays. This picture is more unusual than the other one because we don't generally see groups of people dressed as Papa Noel. Father Christmas, with a typical red suit, boots and belt, false beards, and fur-trimmed caps. One explanation I can think of for why they might be all dressed like this is that they work for a chain of shops or perhaps a department store, and they have just finished work for the day and are having a drink together. If that's the case, then I suppose they feel a little tired and glad that the working day has come to an end. At the same time, like people in the first picture, they look as if they enjoy being together and that they are getting into the spirit of the festive season.
Thank you. Now, Simon, which group of people look happier to you?
Listening exercise. 1.
I think the first thing business visitors need to know is that Australians always say what's on their minds, and they probably expect you to do the same. Another important characteristic is that it's a very egalitarian society, and people don't like it if you try to pull rank. You know, try to impress them or imply that you're somehow superior. For example, for men, if you get into a taxi on your own, the taxi driver will expect you to sit in the front seat with him, as if you were getting into a car with a friend. And when we meet, we shake hands and use first names. Men, well, they quite often call each other mate. Something you definitely should not do in Australia is drop litter in the street. It's actually against the law. Oh, and also, we're very punctual, so be on time.
2.
In the Middle East, there are important differences in the timetable of the working day and working week, and business visitors need to be aware of these. During the month of Ramadan, the 9th month in the Islamic calendar, the working day finishes at 12 o'clock. So don't expect to do business after that. The working week runs from Saturday to Wednesday, or Thursday. Friday is a day for religious observance. We're very hospitable people, and if you're invited home for a meal, you can expect the food to be delicious. But it will probably be served a little later than in some other parts of the world. A good gift to give is a fountain pen. They're wonderful for writing in Arabic script. It's also a good idea to take a supply of business cards, and even to have them printed on one side in English and on the other in Arabic.
3.
Our timetable here in Spain is a little different from the UK, and business visitors need to bear this in mind. We stop work in the middle of the day, so it's wise not to schedule any meetings after 1:30 or before 5 in the afternoon, since most people like to go home to eat lunch, the main meal of the day, with their families. If you are taken out to lunch, you should expect the meal to go on well into the afternoon. That's why you'll also find the evening meal is eaten much later, often not until 10 or 11. So don't expect to find many restaurants opening their doors until 9. If you're invited to someone's home for a meal, you can take gifts like chocolates, cakes, and pastries or flowers, but not chrysanthemums, please. We associate them with death. We are very affectionate people. If we've met someone before, we usually give each other a little hug, and women kiss each other on the cheek.
4.
I think most visitors find Thai people very polite. There are several things that you should know so as to make the same impression on your Thai business associates. For example, it is considered very rude to lose your temper in public. So keep your cool, even if you're stuck in a traffic jam in Bangkok. Another thing you should never do is to touch another person's head, even a child's. So don't be tempted to pat your host's little girl or boy on the head. They think of the head as the highest part of the body, and the feet, on the other hand, they regard as the lowest, so don't point to things with your foot or sit in such a way that the sole of your foot is visible. If you're invited to someone's home, you should take your shoes off before going inside. Don't admire any one object in your host's home too much. They may feel obliged to give it to you.
5.
Something that sometimes surprises business travelers to Venezuela is that we expect people to arrive on time for meetings. Venezuelan business people are often extremely busy, so they expect the meeting to start on time and that not too much time is taken up with preliminaries, so get straight to the point. You probably won't be invited to your host's house for a meal, since most entertaining is done outside the home. But if you are, it's polite to send flowers beforehand and to send a note to say thank you afterwards. Oh, and if your hosts don't tell you where to sit, don't sit at the head of the table. That's the place reserved for the mother or the father in the family.
Speaking exercise. Part 1.
Now, I'd like you to discuss something between yourselves, but please speak so that we can hear you. I'd like you to imagine that your country has recently set up a new national lottery, and that you've been asked to make recommendations about what proportion of lottery funds various projects should receive. Here are some proposals for projects. Talk to each other about these projects, and then put them in order of priority from first to last, according to how much of the fund they should receive. You have 3 or 4 minutes for this.
Okay. I think that children charities are very important, don't you?
Yes, I suppose so. Children are an investment for the future, after all. But then, so are endangered species. If we don't do something to protect the environment, then none of us will be able to survive.
That's true. There are so many different environmental projects that the money could go towards. Perhaps we should put endangered species projects first. What do you think?
Well, it's difficult to choose, but yes, let's put that first and children's charities second. So, now we've got to choose a project for third position. What do you think should go next?
Well, considering that we already made sure that people, animals and plants will benefit, I'd suggest putting heritage projects next.
Oh, really? Yes. Do you think they're more important than scientific research?
Yes, I do. I mean, there are so many really beautiful old buildings in need of restoration. And a bit like the endangered species, we all benefit from it.
Well, I know what you mean. And repairing a cathedral or medieval castle can cost millions or probably trillions. But I still feel that we should be supporting science.
We will be. But we will be making an even more valuable contribution to our national heritage.
Okay. So, we'll put heritage projects third and scientific research fourth.
So now, it's a choice between sports and arts in a fifth position.
Yes. And here I feel quite strongly that sports should get fifth position, actually.
Do you? But surely the arts are more important. I mean, a play or an opera is, well, a work of art. Where a football match...
Well, that's not really a fair comparison because, I mean, sponsoring sports can make a big difference to a disadvantaged community.
Yes, you do have a point there. I don't suppose there are all that much difference between fifth and sixth position, so shall we put the sports product fifth and the arts sixth?
Yes, I think that would be best. Oh no, I've just realized that we've forgotten completely about healthcare.
So we have. Actually, I think the government should pay for the healthcare from money raised from the taxation.
Yes, I'm inclined to agree with you there. And we've already given a high priority to children's charities and scientific research, so perhaps we could put it last.
Fine.
Part 2.
Now, I'd like you to discuss something between yourselves, but please speak so that we can hear you. I'd like you to imagine that your country has recently set up a new national lottery and that you have been asked to make recommendations about what proportion of lottery funds various projects should receive. Here are some proposals for projects. Talk to each other about these projects and then put them in order of priority from first to last, according to how much of the fund they should receive. You have 3 or 4 minutes for this.
Right. Are you ready to start?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think we should put first then?
Scientific projects.
Yes, yeah, that's a good idea. It's very important, and industry doesn't generally fund scientific research unless there is some potential product involved. Okay. So, how about the second? What do you put in second position?
Healthcare. We need better facilities in my country.
I see. Yes, healthcare can always benefit from some more money. Yeah. Okay, so we've got scientific research and healthcare. I agree that they are both very, very important. How do you feel about putting heritage projects next?
That's not a good idea. Preserving old buildings isn't as important as children's charities.
Perhaps you're right. So children's charities third, and then heritage projects. The reason I suggested it is that there are a lot of wonderful monuments and buildings in my country that will eventually fall down unless something is done. And this seems like an excellent source of funding for that kind of thing.
I want to put endangered species after children's charities.
Oh, I see. So you are concerned about the disappearance of animals and plants.
Not so much, but I'm not interested in old buildings.
But many other people are, and it's a way of attracting income from tourists.
All right. We will put the heritage projects next. And then endangered species, and then sport.
In that order?
Yes.
Okay, right. So that's scientific research, healthcare, then children's charities, heritage projects, endangered species, and sports. Are you happy with that order then?
Yes.